Hey, good morning. It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So you ever play ping pong? Play it enough to where you're just reacting by and large. It's the ball's coming and you don't have time to think about it as much as you just have time to get your paddle wherever you need it to be and just react and hit and do whatever you're going to do. It's great in ping pong. In fact, it's essential in ping pong. Without it, you're going to get smoked if you're playing someone who knows how to play. The problem is that same aspect of our brain that allows us to just react based upon what our brain almost intuitively knows. You know, the ball's coming here and you just, your brain, it registers and you just react. That same tendency can be there in our behaviors. We can have a tendency to react and to act and to live out of patterns that have already been established in our brain. And if that's a good reaction, that's a good thing. If it's not a good reaction, it's not a good thing. And I was thinking about that today because I thought, you know, it might be fun to take a video thought for the day and just talk about a Greek word that's not used much in conversation about the Bible or such things. In other words, it's not one of those big Greek words like agape or something, you know, where everybody has either heard of it or might have heard of it, or, you know, it's a big, this is just a humdrum type Greek word. It's the Greek word paramenō. Now, it's used basically 4 times in the New Testament. Paramenō is typically translated to remain in a state or a condition, to stay on, to continue with what you are or where you are. Let me give you some examples because 3 of them are pretty common, but then the 4th is where I want to hone in. Paul uses paramenō in 1 Corinthians. This is a letter he's written to the Corinthians, and he says that, you know, he wants to come see him again, and perhaps he'll stay on with them and even spend the winter there. That stay on, you know, he'll continue, he'll remain, is another way it's often translated with them. It's paramenō. Then he uses it again in Philippians 1. And in Philippians 1, he's talking about whether he should die and be with Christ or whether he should continue living and ministering and serving. And he knows it's better for him to stay and to serve. And so he's going to paramenō. He's going to remain on. He's going to continue in the life that he had in his physical, fleshly life and do that for their good. All right, 3rd time it's used is in Hebrews. And the writer of Hebrews talks about how priests, you have to have all these different priests because they were prevented by death from continuing in their office. In other words, you have a priest, he dies, you got to have another priest. They're going to die. And contrasting that to Jesus, who has been resurrected and serves as a high priest forever. But anyway, that idea that death keeps them from continuing in office is paramenō. It keeps them from paramenō remaining in office. Now, where do we take all of this? To the 4th example I want to use of this word, the other time it's used in the New Testament, is used by the writer of James. And James in the 1st chapter talks about how someone who's just looking at the law but not doing it is like someone who looks intently at a mirror. Now, the mirrors back in the time of James were probably polished copper. Someone really wealthy might have polished silver, but by and large, you're looking at a polished copper. And they might look at it to do their hair in the morning and look intently to see it. But then you go about your day and you don't really think about your hair for the rest of the day or looking in that mirror and what it looked like, hopefully. James says that's someone who studies the word, but he challenges the believer not to simply read the word, but to do it. And he says the one who looks into the perfect law, that's the law of liberty, not just looks into a mirror, but the law of liberty, and perseveres, being not just a hearer of the law, but a doer of the law. That's the person who's going to be blessed in what they're doing. Now, that word perseveres is paramenō. It means to remain. It means to stay. Here's where it goes. Think about the ping pong. We've got to be people who not just hear what we're supposed to do, not just read, not just listen to a video thought for the day, but we're to be people who implement, who do it, and then remain there, paramenō there. Just become doers of the word and keep doing it and keep doing it. And you say, but I'm doing it and it's not helping. Well, keep doing it. Just remain there, stay there, paramenō there as a doer of the word, not simply a hearer. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't simply hear. And you say, but I lose track during the day. It's like ping pong. I go back to my old forms. Then let's work on it together prayerfully, because God wants us to remain as doers of the word. And that is your video thought for the day.